Just dusting off some books here, and welcome to another episode of In the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Wallace Ryan.
Hello? Thank you, dusting me off there.
A bit dusty there.
Yes, and thank you very much, Luna, my wonderful guest host. And let's get right to what do we have here today. Well, we got some biggies and some little ones.
So, first up from DC, we have Aquaman, Deadly Waters, the Deluxe Edition.
And this contains, all the art from this one is done by one of my favorite artists, Jim Aparo.
Atlantis is under attack. After Mara's mysterious disappearance, Aquaman is left alone to defend the deep sea he calls home as his arch-nemesis, Black Manta. Oh, calls home from his... you do it.
Yeah. Well, it goes on. Anyway, he takes on Black Manta and some other people. But the main thing is the art is... I was actually a big fan of this. Now, there's also another artist called Neil Adams, because he ran this comic as a backup feature, and they actually included in this one. But it was mainly the artist. And the guy who used to do the covers at the time, Nick Hardy, I loved his covers were all like movie posters to me, right? Any Nick Hardy cover could be, and here's Jim Aparo, the guy who does the insides. Like he had a really cool style to him, and he got even better and better and better as the 70s went on. He became very famous for his Batman
Wallace
work.
is a fan of the simplistic styles.
Oh yes. But there was something about Aparo I just loved, and he was one of the rare artists actually who lettered his own artwork, because usually it's someone else doing the lettering. Oh, let's check this cover here.
Yeah, I
like
can tell
this.
you're a fan.
Like this cover. Well, that's the cover of the book.
How
Yes.
how much more Aquaman books do you have?
Actually, with this guy, Jim Aparo on it, there's 3 in this series, and I have all 3 of them now that I got this. This was put out a while ago, but I managed to back order it, and because I'd forgotten about it, and I'm actually going to do a special on this artist. Hopefully in the future. I'm waiting for one final book by him, The Phantom Stranger, which has a lot of his artwork, and I'd love to use it in a big special on him. But I'd have to wait for it because it's such a big chunk. Oh, here's one of my favorite covers.
Did you ever have that one?
Yeah. This is without doubt, yeah. The creature.
How old were you?
Oh, geez, that would have been I would have been 9 or 10, something like that.
Jeez.
And I loved it. Loved this guy. Loved Jim Aparo. So anything by Jim Aparo is fabulous. He did actually The Spectre, which was one of the few comics Jeff loved. Jeff was really into that too. So
Up next we have The Many Deaths of Layla Starr.
from Boom. Boom is a great company. I love Boom. They put out great books, and this is one of them.
I'm pretty sure I have a few of the loose comics upstairs in my collection.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I thought
I haven't read it yet.
I think when you were in the
I
store.
got so many.
I know. I thought one time that's why even when I was reading it, I was just like, I even thought that you must have had it.
Well,
right?
there was crows and Hinduism, so I mean, sold.
Had to do it. And I'm a good ways through it here now. I'm at least, I don't know how many issues into it, and it is an incredible book. But yeah, Boom. I mean, look, Eisner Award nominee, limited series, best writer, best penciler, best colors. So even to me, anything. When people ask me, can you recommend any good graphic novels? I say to them, go out to Wikipedia, look at the nominees and the winners of the Eisners and the Harvey Awards, and anything that's even nominated for it is probably worth. Who gives a damn what wins? It's just the fact that it gets nominated. The art is really cool. I do like the art, actually.
So who's the author for this one?
This is Ram V is his name, and Philippe Andrade does the artwork.
What other works does Ram do?
I'm not sure. He'd done some other books around, but this apparently a lot of people, because I can even remember at the time when this first came out at the store, the people who were reading it really loved it.
Mm.
And that to me, when I'd hear that, someone who...
I remember you telling me that, so
yeah. Yeah. So that's why I was just like, I must have recommended this to you, right?
Definitely.
But the artwork beautifully, a great palitude. I know that, you know who'd love this? My Paul.
Hmm.
I should recommend this to my buddy Paul Tucker, who of course, whose graphic novel is coming out this summer from Image, Stringer, lettered by me and written by Patrick Kinlan, our pal. Little plug there, hey? So anyway, this is book. The drawing is wonderful in it. The story is mesmerizing right to the end. So what? 8 stars out of 10. I'd give it at least. And now
we have the Immortal Iron Fist and the Immortal Weapons.
Dun, 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 dun. Now this is an omnibus that hasn't been. I think there was another omnibus just called Immortal Iron Fist. Now this just includes another one, but this is mainly written by this guy Brubaker, who's one of my favorite authors. He does these crime noir stuff, and Matt Fraction. And they took over Iron Fist, which was one of my favorite characters growing up, because there was the big kung fu fad at the time, and he was one of the coolest of them, right?
Who's this cat?
I'm not sure. Actually, I'm still about a third of the way in. I can't remember his, but these are the other mortal weapons he has to face in this big contest.
So these are all people you gotta face?
Yeah.
Or
yeah, he has to beat. Yeah. And he's now I've never. There was a Netflix series, an Iron Fist.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Yeah. So it's something like. It's about to discover the full legacy of the Iron Fist. That's his superpower, right?
7 evil exes like Scott Pilgrim.
I think it is. Well, it's been something like that so far, actually, funny enough. But it's the art in it is quite stunning, because there's different artists worked on it throughout it. David Aja was one of the main ones. But there are a lot of other artists who did some cool little guest starts. Well, look, there's that simple style I love.
That doesn't look very simple to me.
Oh, okay. Or this like that.
Like, that's not simple?
No, it isn't. Yeah.
That's like all esoteric and stuff.
Oh, these are the covers. The covers, I love the covers. I'll show. Oh, and this guy, Dan Barrington was his name. Amazing artist, actually. I always liked his, and he did the annual for it. But I mean the artwork throughout it all, even all the guests, the people they had guest star, and do.
Show them; they can't see.
Oh yeah, and here we are loving it and keeping it, or I am at least keeping it from the people. Let's start back. But yeah, the art. I think the Immortal Iron Fist is worth it just for the art alone. The art throughout these, the covers. The inside art, the changes in styles. It's like a style every couple of issues, or guest star, or guest artist.
Oh yeah, it looks like lots of different artists in there.
Yeah. So I mean, think about it. This is, and I think this is the complete Immortal Iron Fist, because it usually would say Volume 1 if it was going to be a couple. So I know it didn't last forever, but it's just a great comic strip. Now, I think if they had and this is the reason that this is really the reason it got a show on Netflix too, was the show, Iron Fist was really hot because of this series. But apparently they pooched the show. They pooched the show, so I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I should watch it anyway, at least the first one, just to be able to judge, I guess, right? But Immortal Iron Fist, this is definitely like, and I mean, I'm third of the way through it, as you can see there now, and I am heavily into it. I'm loving it so far. It's a great book. You get to see Daniel Rand. You realize there are other Iron Fists. Basically, he has the power to turn his fist into this molten
So he's
metal.
not the only one.
Yeah. There's a couple of them, and he meets an older Iron Fist. Who? Oh, I was gonna say. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say something which would have given away some. But yeah, he wasn't the only one. And there were other Iron Fists, including one Iron Fist that was a famous woman warrior, right? And her story, I love her story. It's very early on in it, and she's great. She really she takes no prisoners, shall we say, right? No, I can't remember. Anyway, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. Oh, is that it? Boobs. But yeah, anyway, I can't remember her name now, but anyway, the woman Iron Fist, great, amazing story, right? But of course, the main Iron Fist is Daniel Rand himself. He was, and I like the character because he's actually a white boy who was taken into a city that appears on Earth only once every 10 years. This mystical city. And when it disappeared, it took him and his family with it, and then they lived there, and he was raised in that society and all that. And this was at least how it started out, and came back to Earth, and his father apparently was a rich person or whatever. So kind of like Batman, right? That way, right? Now,
what about this one?
Okay, we're gonna play a game here where you get to choose two. Right off the shelf for me.
It's okay. Nothing happened to the book.
Now the next one you gotta pick from over there. Okay, this is still a good one though. Okay, what is this? This is Walton Skeezix. This is basically Gasoline Alley, which is a famous comic strip that had been going on for years. I can't remember which volume this is.
I just like the floral design.
Oh, the design, and that's underneath those books. See all those books stacked in underneath.
Yeah.
That's the rest of it. So I got quite a few books of it.
Whole collection there.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it goes from day to day. It's just, and the characters age throughout the strip. As it went on through the years, the characters got older and older, and so it's quite something else like that. This is one of my favorite cartoonists, Joe Matt. He actually, it was his collection of Gasoline Alley, because he's comic strips that he used to clip from newspapers, and he'd buy them and collect them from other collectors, and he actually assembled a complete collection of all of them. And it's probably one of the few that I'd ever heard of complete collection of this comic strip. And they used his collection to scan and use to make these books. So it's, I mean, it's good to have this reproduced, because I mean, as the newspapers turn to dust over the next century or whatever, a lot of this artwork is going to die. I'm assuming that people are scanning it, or that they've probably even scanned his collection. Because it should be. This is, otherwise you're going to lose a lot of these. Same with comic books too. There's going to be a lot of comic books that will be turned to dust. Now have it added over there. Go and pick me up. I'll close my eyes while. Now Luna's going to pick from the library just a book at random, like that one. Okay.
Dun, dun,
Dun, dun.
dun.
Okay, ready?
Dun.
Okay, which one is it? Oh, okay. The question. This is Volume 1. Okay, excellent. Okay, good choice. Actually, they just announced that the Volume 2 is coming out. I'm a big fan. He actually came out. Oh, there it is, right behind me there. The action heroes. Oh, he came out. Originally came out in Lowe's, right? Oh, they're really tight in there. Oh no! Oh yeah, there. Okay.
Try not to drop this one. It's not as heavy.
And this is actually, there he is, the question. This was Steve Ditko, his comics he did for Carlton, and which DC now owns all the rights for. And he appeared in that, and he was a great hero. Now they got the rights to him, and they use the same character, and it's a different type of comic, but it's still pretty good. I still like it, strangely enough, right? The art is very different, and the character is different from that question. But it's basically a guy with a mask that hides his face, right? And he's uncompromising, especially in the old one, right?
You're probably not speaking very loud.
Okay. He was always a very uncompromising, Ditko-esque character. But this one, I was curious, and it was Dennis actually who recommended that I buy this. And he said, "Oh yeah," he said, it is actually very good and all that." So I did, and so I did, and I'm glad I did. I'm still in the middle of reading it, although there's where I am with it. See, people. So I got a ways to go in that. Will I do one pick myself?
Yes, I was just about to say that. Your turn.
Blindly, okay.
Do,
And okay. Okay. Oh. What shall I pick out here? Ooh. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got it here. This is the one I just found and picked off the shelf from Don McGregor.
Detectives Inc.
And the late Marshall Rogers and the late Gene Colan. When I was a kid, this first came out as a graphic novel, and it's really like the artwork was done by this guy Marshall Rogers to first start out, and he had a really interesting style. I mean, he could draw more panels per page than anyone else I think that I can remember, and but great storytelling, and this is an amazing story. Well, it's a detective story. Don McGregor, he'd done a lot of other. He had an amazing run on Black Panther, for instance, and this.
Did you ever meet him?
No, but I talk to him online every so often, right? And we talk back and forth. He actually quoted me yesterday. Something I said about some of.
Say, don't you know this guy?
Yeah, so he has actually. So even some nudity in it. And this was the first. Like the one of the characters it was one of the first mainline comics to have a gay person in it. All right. And then there was this one that he came back with his old friend Gene Colan, and this guy he did that Dracula comic I keep raving about all the time, right? And he also did Howard the Duck. He had an amazing style. I love this guy.
It's very realistic.
Yeah. But
it kind of reminds me of Aha. That video.
Yeah. But but yeah, it's amazing art. But great stories. That's one good thing reading this. It's just not only is it nicely done, but it actually does have a good story to it. But yeah, so definitely one. Now I think this one might be out of print. So and I think it is getting pretty expensive out there, right? So no, we're not going to sell this one, right? But it's one of my faves anyway. So that was a fun little experiment. I did like the random picks off the shelves. God only knows what I'll pick next week. Although you know what I'll do next week? I'll spin around and then I'll head in a direction and just reach out and whichever one I do touch. Because I touched a couple until I see that one and then it was just like, oh.
We got blindfolds. Yeah,
that's it. Blindfolds. Okay, that being said, check out next week's show. Check out Thursday Comics, although it won't be one this week because I thought it was going to be a solicits, but it was just like they're not all out, so forget that. So there's 2 weeks off. Unfortunately, Dennis is not feeling the best. Okay, Dennis, we're not laughing at you. I'm laughing at her. Dennis not feeling the best, so it looks like it's going to be till next week. And I guess that's about it, isn't it? We've both had enough. Okay, bye.
I don't know which button it is.
It's this button right